get the spreadsheets, we can make sure that Scott gets the spreadsheets for us for the full committee
Sure.
today. I didn't even think, I was just thinking about this on the floor. Seven shifting gears. So and this is House Corrections. Welcome, folks. House Corrections and Institutions. It's Friday, May 22nd,
Mhm.
11 o'clock in the morning. And we are meeting just to bring the committee up to speed in terms of what the conference committee agreed to. Basically, we got a lot of what we wanted. We had a lot of new information on 3-acre parcel. And we ended up being able to find even more money, even from what we did. With that, because they said they had 4.5 million in the bank. And they needed about 4.7 million.
Mhm.
They already had 4.5. So we wanted to bring that up to 5 million. So what we ended up doing is cutting our 1.1 million by 600,000. And then the Senate put in $1 million in cash and we zeroed that out.
Thanks.
And that was really helpful because we got a bid in from St. Johnsbury Door Controls that came in like 2 days ago. Came in Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't remember.
Mhm.
And Wanda came to us on our side and said, we just got the bid in, 10.2 million for the door control work in St. J, which also included some windows, sealing the windows, floor work, different things while they're there. So we had 6.7, I think we had for St. J. So we really worked hard to get that up to close to 10 million that we could. So that was not a line item that the Senate had worked on at all. They had put back, we had 700,000 for door controls in general because we said they weren't, we wanted to make sure St. J was covered, but we didn't go the full 2.7 million for the line item and the door controls. The Senate had put back the 2 million, so we were at 2.7. So we said, we're going to move that 2.7 million door controls to the St. Johnsbury facility line and take out the line for door controls. Then when we found some money, we put that towards St. J. So that was the big shift.
Mhm.
The other thing with the 3-acre parcel, we wanted to make sure, because the Senate really wanted to go forward with the boiler in Newport, the Newport facility, but it was tied to stormwater ponds.
Yep.
And when we looked at the 3-acre parcels, there were 3 projects and then one other project that was for Newport. We wanted to make sure we had enough money to also do the stormwater ponds. And we made sure within the 3-acre parcel money that there was money for the stormwater ponds. And then we agreed to them adding more money to the boiler. So all that was connected. So we did that. The egress language for the State House, they had 25,000 in there extra on that design for the entryway.
Mhm.
We got the 25,000 back. We said we'll stay with our version of 1.3 million. Kept their language. We got the money back. The Recovery House, they had put in 220,000 in bonded dollars. We did not agree with that. We said, no, you can't use bonded dollars to buy kitchen cabinets and replace a temporary staircase. They had not seen that list from Recovery House. When they got the documents from Recovery House, they had taken out that list of items. So they were not aware. And we had that document and I presented it to them. And for the committee, that's why it's important to keep those documents because you're going to need them in the conference committee.
Right.
Hint, hint to new folks.
Yep.
That's why I hammer
Is
in.
anybody new anymore?
No, it's 2 years.
No, but
I
but
mean,
don't forget, it's
or you
like
don't have any
school.
documents.
It's like school, you know, you
I
leave.
did have
you
that
come back,
until yesterday when I printed it up. I did have that.
Yeah, I'm sure you have everything there. Then they also, on the building community grants, they increased historic barns and historic preservation grants by 100,000 each. And we said, no, we're not gonna pick and choose on these building community grants. It's been a understood agreement that they all get the same amount of money and they all have more applications than money. So we said no to that, and the 200,000 went to the statewide historic sites for their major maintenance. Give them a little bit.
Can we go backward? So did you zero out the recovery house? Like
Yes,
totally? Like-
we zeroed out.
Okay.
Sorry about, we zeroed that completely. And we got back what we wanted with building community grants. And there was 100,000 bonded dollars put in for technical support, A&R technical support for the regional stormwater districts. Number one, you couldn't use bonded dollars for that. Number two, A&R, we reached out to A&R, they don't need the money. They don't even need the language to set up, but they don't need the money, and it was gonna cost them money to implement it. Probably about 30 to 40,000 to implement, to distribute the 100,000. So we said, we zero that out. They agreed, so we didn't do that. So that's where we were for money. I don't think, we did increase Wi-Fi. Let me look here. We did increase Wi-Fi from 250 to 550 cash. We got some language for that.
Remind me, Chair, I thought we added 5 to 250 for 750 total.
Yeah, what did I say?
I heard 550.
750.
That might be my ears.
Oh, it's me. It was 250, we put in 5, so it's
Yeah.
750 with language. And what we did with the Wi-Fi, because we've got some language going on here, and should probably go to the report. Go to the report. Oh. So we worked with ADS and DOC yesterday pretty extensively. ADS was saying that DOC really needs to provide more information. So we worked up language with both piece. Section. Okay, I'm gonna do this too. Where did that go? Page 25. Is it page? Well, I've got that, but that's not, I wanna,
I checked, but Tate never got me a copy.
no.
You're a bad.
No, you were the one.
Yeah, you're
I'm
sharp.
trying to find the money for the Wi-Fi. And that was cash, so it's in the cash section. So I read it this morning, I'm saying, where the heck is this? Here it is. Okay. Well, we've agreed to with the Wi-Fi, the 750. And we have language, 2 different sets of language.
Okay.
15 for the cash. DOC is to work with ADS to develop a plan for providing network connectivity.
Yep.
In our correctional facilities. And this is because DOC needs to do some of this work. They need to figure out how you modernize processes, you reduce reliance on paper, you improve staff efficiency, address workforce challenges, support real-time data-driven operations, lay a foundation for future capabilities, and ensure secure compliance, connectivity in key facilities. And each of these is outlined in ADS's Business Transformation Project Recommendations Report. So the thinking is DOC and ADS is going to do this, and we also put in language that they both have to, in consultation with BGS, need to report at each of the scheduled meetings of Joint Justice Oversight. So we worked that through. One thing I want to backtrack a little bit, we did put in some language for the women's facility. We didn't change the amount of money that they, oh, good for you. Tate is so good.
Amen.
We did put in, we agreed with the Senate version of the maintenance facility. But we did put in language as to what the money would be used for. And this is really important for you folks to know this language. It's for maintenance, replacement, and renovations of the fitness facility.
Wow, just on cue.
And then where, now this is, some of this is cash.
Gracias.
Okay, see, Scott, what, it came in with a smile.
Would it kill you, Tate?
Always joke. There is another language here. Did we screw this up?
No.
Tell me, folks, it was bathroom, showers, and flooring. Where did that language go?
Page 24, section 17, third line down from the break.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So it's in a couple places here. This is moving around for a couple places. Okay. So what the money is to be used for? This is what folks need to pay attention. Maintenance, replacement, renovations, or other correctional facilities utilized in response to overcrowding for the incarcerated women's population. I knew that was going to get you going. So if
Gotta go along with Troy on that.
so if they get to a point that they're gonna bump up, they could bump up quite a bit in the women's facility, and we've known this course might happen. They might have to temporarily move some of the women into a wing of a male facility. Probably the one that they would use might be St. Albans. I don't know if they use the work camp, depending who's the work camp. That's a separate building from the incarcerated one. It's two different wings there. I don't know how many males they have there. I mean, then we also said that if, in language, and if this is to occur, BGS and DOC needs to come before the joint oversight committee.
Well, that's good. Because that is in the absence of that piece, then that money is just wide open to be used anywhere for anything.
No, it's not. It is, no, it's not. It is
For women.
for other correctional facilities. Before it said facilities. We were very clear, it's correctional.
Well, I
facilities.
meant for any correctional facility, for any purpose.
To respond to the overcrowding at CRCF.
Right, correct. But you added that language where they got to check in with you if they,
We added a couple language like it's correctional facilities. Because the way it was written could be any facility. So we were very clear and to report back. And the only facility it can really be at would be St. Albans, possibly the work camp. You're not going to put them in Newport. You're not gonna put them in Springfield because the living units are totally separate from the infirmary building, from the cafeteria, and they would have to go outside to move into the administrative building. You're not gonna that's not gonna be a secure, safe environment. They'll be heckled as they're walking across the yard. So chances are, if knowing the layouts of the facilities. So we were real clear on that, and we were clear that the money to be used in the current facility is they're gonna prioritize repairs to bathroom, showers, and flooring. For that. The next,
Can I just ask a question?
yeah,
When would be the soonest we would see plans for any sort of renovations to the rest of that?
no, I don't know. If we have time next week, it might be worth reach out to BGS to see if there's anything they can. Why not? That. It's busy. I'm finally ahead of you.
Figuring out my dinner plans.
Yes, something important.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable with a few days left. Maybe, we could have BGS and talk where they are on the new women's facility. If
Yeah.
they can share anything next week. So the other thing that we really. Oh, yeah. The other thing that we really worked on was the Little River State Park, the lease for Forest and Parks.
Yeah.
Vermont Huts. The Senate did not want us to enter into a lease. They wanted us to negotiate, and that was a problem. And then we got into other things that the chair wanted to get into that we kind of reined that back in. So we ended up agreeing that to our language that we would allow them, Forest and Parks and Vermont Huts, to enter into a long-term lease. What we added was two check-ins. We added that the Forest and Parks will report to the chairs of these two committees on or before August 15th. And the thinking there is they'd be about midpoint in negotiations, the lease. So at least the chairs would weigh in on any concerns. And then immediately prior to the execution of the lease agreement, that they would notify the two chairs.
Yeah.
Because there was concern from a member in the other conference committee of not knowing what the lease is gonna say, not knowing what the fee was gonna be. So that's how we addressed it. And then we must have spent the bulk of our. Oh, before I go there, we did incorporate different language a little bit in the high-end system facility, system of care for the juveniles.
Yeah.
This language may also show in the big bill. And Representative Wood and I worked with BGS. And all it basically says, it doesn't harm our 700,000 that we put in. They can use that. And and before DCF or BGS approve any design documents for construction. And prior to the approval of the lease, because right now they're negotiating this with a design build developer. BGS would submit their approved designs to our committees. And then at the same time, DCF would submit a draft operating budget, because that was the concern upstairs, to know how much it would cost to provide services to the group. And then the final was a member of the conference committee on the Senate side really wanted the language on stormwater, creating regional stormwater management districts. We worked with our conferees, worked with Mary, Brian and I worked with A&R to find out about the language. Does it impede anything? Does it do any damage? Does it work? And it's pretty benign. Pretty much. but a member of the other conference side really wanted that, that was an important piece to her. So we agreed that we would accept that language in exchange for the sale of 110 Bolt.
Nice.
The big issue that we got stuck on for 2 days was the sale, 3 days, thank you, was the sale of 110 Bolt. There was one member of the Senate Conference Committee that did not want to sell that building.
Yeah, it's not
I
bad.
was gonna explain where it is.
I thought you said Baldwin.
Jim
It's
is,
not Baldwin
Oh,
State,
Baldwin
I'm
Street.
sorry, State Street, 110 State Street. What am I doing this? We gave authority 3 years ago to sell 110 State.
Yep.
And we also gave Montpelier basically the first, right of first refusal. They didn't want it, the flood happened. 110 State Street is in the Capitol complex. They're working with FEMA and trying to, so everything's been on. And the chair of Senate Institutions really felt that was a building we should not let go of. There's not much use for that building of the way it's structured inside. It's broken up. You could only get maybe 8 people there working. So anyway, we spent a lot of time on this. We finally came down last night, or yesterday, I don't remember, that we would have the ability, we will sell the building, but it had to be clear that the building is sold at fair market value, and that there are protective covenants that would go with the building with a short preservation, which it does anyway, but we laid that out, that that is a condition. And that, with the language too, the big sticking point was that they wanted, if the building was to be resold after a buyer, it's a big sticking point. If the buyer bought the building and then down the road wanted to put it up for sale, we wanted to have the state have the right of first refusal, which we don't do. And that was a real sticking point. And the governor would veto capital. That was. And then the other piece that they wanted was that when BGF was negotiating the sale of 110 State Street, that those negotiations, which are not public, that we would receive updates on those negotiations, which is not possible.
Are these people that don't do real estate transactions?
I can't.
You asked Joe.
Does that building include parking with it? Do you know about the lot
Sure.
behind it? The lot's almost more valuable than the building in a way.
It does. So what we agreed to, find the language. Almost.
In practice, building in a floodplain where you have to maintain the historical features. To Connor's point, it's actually worth the lot value minus the demolition of the building.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
It has very very limited monetary value.
So what we agreed to in the language,
Okay.
what we agreed to in the language after
Not a bit of-
much discussion. It would be sold at fair market value. And it is our intent that the historic attributes of the property are protected for future generations. And that the chairs of the 2 institutions committees would receive timely notice of status updates on the disposition of the property, and that the initial purchaser of the property provides notification of an intent to sell to the Secretary of the Administration, Commissioner of BGS, and in turn notifies the chairs of the 2 institutions. So that's where we ended up after a great deal of conversation and even going to the governor's. To figure that one out. That's what solidified this final part of the report. So that's the report. That's what we did.
Whatever it became of that requested earmark from Recovery House or whatever they.
Zeroed out.
Perfect.
Zeroed it out. We offered, we brought the 2 zeros, building community grants, recovery house, and the tech support
Sorry.
for stormwater, and they agreed to all 3.
I have one question.
That's pretty good.
The boiler, the Newport, right? Is
Yeah.
that the one that's with the pond?
Yep,
So they indicated that they have the capacity and plan to move forward on that one this year?
that's what they're hoping.
Okay.
And we've made sure the money is there for
Roger.
that.
That's all. You probably said it, I just
That's
missed
what
it.
they're hoping.
Yeah, okay.
And that was part of the 3-acre parcel, why they put in more money.
Okay.
Because they wanted to get that done, but in working with BGS, and they came back and said, we already have the money in the bank.
Okay, thank you.
They needed 4.7, they had 4.5, with nothing.
Yeah.
With nothing that we would appropriate in 26 or 27.
Uh-oh, hands going up.
The record Scott Moore, Joint Fiscal Manager, just so that the rest of the community knows. We just said 4.5, 4.7. We actually had to make sure they had 5 million. So we gave
Right,
them
I know,
a spectrum. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you, they're.
I did that earlier,
Okay.
did that earlier.
You heard that.
That's why we have the 500,000 in there. But they really, it's just to ensure that they've got. But then everything else, where we found money, we basically put it to St. J. For the
Thank you.
doors.
All looks good. And thanks for keeping the 3 pennies in there for state owned forests.
Can you just explain that, in the column?
It's easier, to look this one's really
Yes,
easy.
this is.
Right, but
Is
I
that-
don't see where it
is that
says
what-
10 million.
It doesn't, because we've got previous appropriations and previous.
It's cumulative,
bills.
Sean.
It's cumulative. There's 6.7 already in the, well, there's like 5 million already. in the bank. We already have it. It's not going to show up there because it's capital
Oh,
bills from 22, 23.
gotcha.
It's not, that's,
If you go to what BGS presented when they came in, I think it was January
out
27th.
of the paper.
They had a list of everything. And then that list, I think, the sheriff's correct, it was like 4.5.
Here's in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll show the listing now.
Are you doing this on the board today?
Maybe I should, because I know it. Come Tuesday, I'm gonna forget
Did we try to take something out of that at some point?
it.
It'd be a good thing to.
I don't remember, we might, no, we didn't. We
That's
left
down
it.
the line,
Jay, we
yeah.
left St. Jay, we didn't touch it.
Okay.
We took it out of the door control line item.
Mm-hmm.
This goes to the Senate first, the House bill.
Oh,
Okay. You cannot amend a committee or conference report on the floor. It goes to the Senate first, so hopefully it got submitted.
I did instruct the chair how to bring it, where she need to bring it. To the Senate Secretary's office. To be fair, I didn't walk her there, but
Uh-oh.
I made sure she knew where to go.
Good job.
You're so smart. So it might be up on the floor in the Senate on Tuesday, depending if they have a token. And it might not, depends how they operate, because it'll be on notice. It's Tuesday in the Senate, then they have to flip it over here. So I would assume, you know what assume means? It could be Tuesday late afternoon, early evening, at the earliest, we do it on the floor. If they want to get us out, you gotta start suspending rules and shipping that stuff over.
Yeah.
Or we up on Wednesday, still you need suspension of rules.
While I was, after we did that, I was listening to the Senate, and during the time that I was listening to the study,
For Senate,
before Senate, I did not hear them say anything about the Capitol bill. So they haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I'm not sure where they are, if they're gonna say, let's look at this now, but I doubt they're gonna look at it today.
I don't even know if does the body know, did the speaker announce at all that we had signed off for agreement on the Capitol bill? Usually they. Okay. So that's where we are. That was the work that Mary and Brian and me and the rest of the 3 senators, that's the work that we did.
You guys did a great job.
You did a nice job.
Represented us, sure.
Good fun.
Everybody learned. Everybody learned. So that's where we are. I hope it was.
Especially the Senate.
Not,
The 110,
Did you have to say that, Mary?
110 State Street was the real stump. That's where the issues were. So outside of that, until we hear back from Judiciary Committee and all of that on S-193, we're back on the floor at 1 o'clock. So don't go too far from the building, or if you are, please check your phones. Be prepared to run back up here. Connor knows that drill.
Alrighty.
Change clothes, no matter. Be careful what you have for liquids. And let's go off of YouTube, and I'm sure we'll be back on YouTube at some point this